Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, a 27-year veteran of the NYPD. You know, folks, yesterday's decision finding illegal alien Jose Ibarra guilty of 10 charges in regards to the murder of Laken Riley was just, I think, when you truly look at it and look at Laken Riley as could be your sister, could be your cousin, could be your friend, and you hear all the facts and circumstances of this case, it is just so heartbreaking, you know. And we hear different euphemisms from both sides. To the left, Jose Ibarra is a migrant. To the right, he's an illegal alien who was in this country illegally, unvetted, came into this country unchecked, arrested in another state, still unchecked, allowed to go and live somewhere else in Georgia. And then he commits this horrific crime. And what I would ask is someone who did 27 years on the NYPD, who is Jose Ibarra? What was his criminal history upon coming into this country? Did we bother to check that? And I find that horrific if our government does not protect its people. How many other Jose Ibarras are there across this nation that were just dumped in states? Again, unvetted, unchecked. Are these countries giving us their best? And am I somehow not allowed to ask that as an American citizen? You would have some say that, just questioning our government. Why did they dump millions of people into our country? Millions unvetted. And the result of this is the murder of this young girl. A nursing student, had everything to live for, was a great person, was about to, embark upon her life after school, after she finished her nursing degree. But that will never happen now because her life was snuffed out by this savage who you see on the screen, Jose Ibarra, who we don't know who he is, just allowed to come into this country without any vetting whatsoever. And again, who are the people that are going to suffer over this? And of course, we have the Laken Rileys, who will never experience being a nurse, who will never get married, who will never have children. Her life was snuffed out. And she's not the only victim in this case. This thumbnail on the screen of her mother and the other folks in the courtroom, just upon hearing this verdict, their faces say it all. And who is our government working for when they allow things like this to happen? I question that. We're going to go over this. But first, folks, hold on to your hats. Hold on to your seats. You're about to enter true crime from a police perspective. You're about to enter the off-the-cuff zone, the police off-the-cuff zone.
There has to be some common sense.
They were the ones who called 911 to get him help, and now they're calling for change.
Before we start the show, first, a word from our sponsor. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to Bet Online today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here. You know, folks, this case, of course, has become highly political. I'm going to read part of yesterday's report from the New York Times on this case. Migrant gets life sentence for killing Laken Riley in case seized on by Trump. That's their headline. Not that this young nursing student was murdered by an illegal alien. He's a migrant, and they made this political right in their headline. The sentencing came hours after a judge issued a guilty verdict. The case became a flashpoint in the bitter national debate over immigration policy. A 26-year-old migrant from Venezuela was convicted on Wednesday of murdering Laken Riley, a Georgia nursing student whose killing has been repeatedly cited by President-elect Donald Trump in his push for the mass deportation of millions of undocumented people. They're not undocumented. They are here illegally. Miss Riley, 22, was attacked in February while running on a trail on the University of Georgia campus in Athens. A day later, the authorities charged Jose Antonio Ibarra, a migrant, they refer to him in the New York Times, who had entered the country illegally in connection with the killing. Mr. Ibarra faced numerous charges, including malice murder and aggravated assault with intent to rape. Judge H. Patrick Haggard of State Superior Court in Athens, Clark County, found him guilty and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole after a 4-day bench trial. Judge Haggard announced the verdict just minutes after lawyers concluded their arguments, repeating a prosecutor's earlier statement that the evidence was overwhelming and powerful. The judge, rather than a jury, decided the case at the request of Mr. Ibarra's lawyers after they tried unsuccessfully to move the case out of Athens. On Wednesday, lawyers for Mr. Ibarra said that their decision to seek a bench trial was based on concerns that a jury in Athens could not review the evidence dispassionately. I'm not going to go into all of the political nonsense that's in this article, but really, I think that the day after this trial and that this defendant has been found guilty, I think we should be focusing on this victim and this victim, Laken Riley's family, rather than the politics of immigration, which is obviously a huge problem in this country. And as I suggested at the top of this, and is that how many other Jose Ibarras are in this country that we don't know about? And there's been other murders. And, you know, the argument from the other side is that, oh, illegal aliens don't commit crime at any higher level than American citizens. Oh, that makes me feel good. Guess what? American citizens are here legally. Illegal aliens that come here and commit crimes are not. So to me, the statistic is 100% higher because they're here illegally and they're not supposed to be here. So that argument to me is outrageous, you know. But again, this has been such a political flashpoint about, you know, in regards to the political thing of unlawful immigration, of migrant or illegal alien. And I'm going to play this from CBS News. This is how they reported this yesterday. And again, all the reports are different depending on sometimes the political persuasion of the reporter.
Thank you for joining us. We want to begin with the swift verdict and maximum sentence handed down today in the murder of Laken Riley. A Georgia judge found 26-year-old Venezuelan migrant Jose Ibarra guilty on all counts and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Ibarra entered the country illegally, and the murder fueled the heated debate over the southern border during the race for president. The sentencing followed a heart-wrenching statement from Riley's mother, who said her daughter's life was not the only one taken on that February day when she went for a jog on the University of Georgia campus. Her mother said the life of her family and friends was taken too soon. None of us will ever be the same. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez leads us off from the courthouse in Athens, Georgia.
Count 1, malice murder. I find the defendant guilty.
Sobbing could be heard in the courtroom as the judge found Jose Ibarra guilty on all 10 counts.
Count 3, felony murder. I find the defendant guilty.
After the verdict, Laken Riley's family and friends addressed the court. Her mother, Allison Phillips, spoke first.
On that horrific day, my precious daughter was attacked, beaten, and shown no mercy. She fought for her life and dignity and to save herself from being brutally raped. This sick, twisted, and evil coward showed no regard for Laken or human life. We are asking that same be done to him. He took my best friend.
Riley's younger sister, Lauren, says Laken was her biggest protector and best friend.
I am completely disgusted having to even look and be in the same room as him. That predator is inhumane and is the epitome of evil.
Her roommate, Connolly Huff, wore one of Riley's shirts to court today and said they often ran together.
I live with excruciating guilt every day that I was not accompanying Laken on this run, and that it was her and not me.
The prosecutor then played the police body cam video of the moment her family was told she was dead. She let Riley have the last word in her closing argument, saying the fight she put up left DNA evidence implicating Ibarra.
She scratched him. She marked him. She marked him for everyone to see. She marked him for you to see.
The case became a flashpoint in the debate over border security and illegal immigration during the presidential campaign. Ibarra is an undocumented immigrant. In a statement today, President-elect Trump said, although the pain and heartbreak will last forever, hopefully this can help bring some peace and closure to her wonderful family. Because the defense decided to forego a trial by jury, the judge was the sole decider in this case, and he did it quickly, coming back with the guilty verdict less than 30 minutes after closing arguments. Nora?
Unbelievable. You know, the evidence in this case was, as most people would say, it was overwhelming. Physical evidence, video evidence, blood evidence, DNA evidence. You know, if you follow this show, you know that we speak about all the time DNA that could be underneath a victim's fingernails. And when we hear about the details of this attack, that Laken Riley fought for over 18 minutes for her life with this savage, 18 minutes, as he hit her over the head with a rock, as he attempted to rape her, as he dragged her body to another location. It's just unfathomable, you know, and you see the pain on the family, on the faces of the family, and it's just, it's disturbing. I don't think there's anyone that watched this trial, watched the testimony, watched the district attorney, the assistant district attorney, Sheila Ross, who did an outstanding job presenting this evidence. And we questioned early on, why are they picking a bench trial? And obviously, you know, of course, that's a tactic by the defense saying that he's not going to be able to get a fair trial in Georgia after all. You know, he just murdered one of the students on this campus. But I felt right away that a jury would have been the only way that could have possibly created doubt, because a judge wasn't going to buy any doubt with all of this evidence. And guess where they found Jose Ibarra's skin and thus his DNA? Yes, underneath the fingernails of Laken Riley, who fought for her life for over 18 minutes. Transfer evidence, blood evidence on his clothing, just video evidence of him hanging out, stalking, looking for a victim. And I'll play a little bit of this. You know, as you guys know that follow this show, I did 6.5 years in anti-crime with the NYPD. 3.5 as a cop, and 3 years as a sergeant. And this was my job, was to go out on the street in plain clothes and blend in and watch for predators like this guy. I'm going to play some of the video of him actually, like a lion stalks his prey, hiding in the high grass. That's what this savage was doing. This is from the video from the campus cameras. As you could see, this is the location. And you can see he's prepared. He's wearing dark clothing. He's got on gloves. What are the gloves for? He's in his attack garments, you know? He's dressed to blend in. He's dressed to not be identified. As he stalks, as he hides, much like a savage would do, like an animal. He's got his hoodie up. A hat underneath the hoodie.
I'm going to stop it at 6:54.
This is the
First
district
of all,
attorney
in the
speaking.
entire hour that this individual is around this area, does he ever talk to anyone?
No.
Ever engage with any person?
No.
Do you see from 6:52 to 7:54 this individual go to the building S door?
Yes.
In that time frame, how many times does that person go to the door when you see them each time?
6 times.
And can you see on your video of those 6 times how many times that person actually opens the screen door?
Twice.
And the nature of this footage, how would you describe this footage? Is it great, grainy? I mean, how would you describe this?
At times it is good quality, at other times it is a little grainy.
Why is that? Is that just a function of the camera?
Yeah, it's connected cellularly, so sometimes when there's motion, it the quality gets better, but then when there's no motion, the quality disappears a little bit.
And did you make screenshots of this still video at some point in your investigation?
Yes.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked for verification purposes. States Exhibit 85, States Exhibit 84. You recognize those items?
I did.
What are they?
There are pictures of the individual that was seen walking around the building.
And are those some of the screenshots that you made?
Yes.
The state moved to admit States 35 and 34.
Any objection? Yes, sir. They're admitted.
And were you all, or were you, in your investigation, attempting to identify the clothing and items that this person was wearing?
Yes.
And in your review of this video, were you able to see, first of all, gloves?
Yes.
Can you point to those? What color are they?
Black.
Were you able to see a cup?
Yes.
Can you point to that? And then were you able to see a bag? And it may not be best in this video at this point, but in one of your still shots, can you see a bag?
Yes, I can.
Can you please just show it to the court? Is it where my finger is?
Yes.
Okay, I just need to read it.
Folks, yeah, some of you guys are asking in the chat. June Coulthard, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. So he was stalking any woman. Yeah, June, he was looking for a victim. He wasn't specifically out there to attack Laken Riley, but he was stalking. He was looking for a victim. He's got his whole kit. He's got his whole preparatory kit with him, his gloves, his hoodie up, his hat up, all designed to wearing dark, unidentifiable clothing, all designed to help him get away with this. Trying to open the door. He was also charged with being a peeping Tom, trying to open the door of an apartment. Stalking. Perhaps he has seen these victims. He knows women run on this jogging trail by themselves. He's lived around there. He's scoped it out, right? He's exactly the predators I used to target on the streets of New York City. Very disturbing. And here he is out there, dressed in his predatory garb, looking for a victim. It's back up on the screen.
Oh, is that a better view of the bag now?
Yes, it is.
All right, at 6:54.
Melanie's concierge service, he's 100% done this before. Melanie, very intuitive, 100%. He's done it before. That's why I said, who was he in his home country of Venezuela? He was probably, I would guess, a career criminal and a sex offender, but just led into this country as if he's a graduate student, unbelievable. Scary, right? It's almost like from the animal kingdom to see a predatory animal looking for a weaker victim to attack. And that's what he is. He's a predator. And I use words that we use when we were cops, and if it disturbs some people, that's who this guy is. He's a predatory savage. He's an animal. He's looking for a victim as he tries to blend in and not be seen as suspicious. But I think anyone that would see this guy, as you watch this footage, you could see he is very suspicious. He has no point to where he's walking. He's hunting. He's, like they say, hunting, Here he's walking by these apartments,
At 6:58, what door did that individual just walk by?
114.
What is the purpose of his walking? He's almost walking with no purpose. There's a hint to all you anti-crime aficionados. When someone walks with no purpose, they're up to something. Yes, the defense attorneys tried to suggest it wasn't him, it was his brother. Good try, but when his DNA is underneath the fingernails of the victim, that whole argument goes out.
701.
We see him walking up to 114, and he's standing in front of the door. Now he's opening this outer screen door of the apartment.
He's trying to get into someone's apartment.
Now he walks back behind the building.
If I was a campus police officer or working anti-crime in New York City, and I saw someone behaving like this, I would try to observe. I would try to observe it as far as I could. Sorry, my camera just went out for a second. Okay, I'm back on. Sorry, guys. I would observe, and then I would stop the guy and ask him for an explanation of his conduct. Does he have an explanation for his conduct here? I don't think so. He's predatory in nature, and he's looking for a victim.
And now our next clip is at 7:06, so that's how Cyber just put it together. So we're not watching 5 minutes of dead video.
Correct.
But when you see him go to the back of the building, in the back of the building, are there windows in the back of the building?
There are.
And are there windows to 114 in the back of the building?
Correct. And it's on the ground floor, so it would be at, head level, chest level of an adult.
A lot of you guys are saying in the chat, it's so scary to see this predator prowl around looking for a victim. That's what criminals do. And you can tell by his cockiness that he's done this before, He's fully prepared to attack the first victim that he sees. And yeah, this is scary to watch, but it's also an education, right? An education in the way that we can't walk around not having, eyes in the back of our head. Walk around with earbuds on so we can't hear our surroundings. Be distracted. When you're out in public, you need to be aware of your surroundings. This is just a real education when we watch this video. Look at me. Where is he going? He's going back to where he was before, right? He's hunting. That's my whole dissertation here. He is hunting for a victim. And the only good thing about this is that there are cameras on this campus.
Where I'm pausing. In what direction is now this individual going?
He's walking south.
Okay, and the IM fields from here, intramural fields, you're familiar with those, correct?
Correct.
Where are they in relation to where he's walking?
They're to the east of that, southeast of that. But you can access it by going south and then turning east.
Would this individual be walking in the direction of the IM fields?
Yes.
And of course, there are dark, desolate places like this. Almost all jogging paths are desolate, There's that open to everyone to see. So yeah, he picked this area because he can blend in and he can do his trade, ply his trade without the potential.
So now we're at 7:33. So between 7:09 and 7:33, do you see this individual on this trail cam?
No, I do not.
Scary as you see him just walking around looking for a victim. And this is something that, again, when I did work anti-crime in New York City, we caught people in the act of committing robberies, attempted rapes, purse snatches, all of those type of things, because we targeted individuals like this. Anders Gustafsson, he was targeting the woman he peeped into, but she discovered that something was wrong, and she stayed inside. So he found Lakin jogging and attacked her instead. Anders, yeah, I mean, he's a person of opportunity, and he is looking for an opportunity and a weak individual to attack.
In what direction now at 7:34 is that individual walking?
He's walking north back towards Building S.
I'm going to pause it at 7:39. So the last clip that we saw at 7:33, did that individual go back behind Building S again?
He did.
Okay. And I asked you about the windows in Building S. And is that, it's 276 has already been admitted. Is that what the back windows look like in the back of that building?
It is.
And how they were also on that morning?
Correct.
So obviously, I think that, obviously the prosecutor is trying to establish that he's out hunting for a victim. The video itself screams out that he's searching for a victim. And his victim indeed turned out to be Laken Riley. Just absolutely horrific. You know, we've discussed a lot of these things before on the show. Melanie's little concierge service, if running with earbuds, just have one earbud in. Text someone when you are where you are going, when you start your run, and when you plan on being back. Share your location with someone, even if it's just while you run. Melanie, thank you for that. That's a really good safety precaution. You may even consider, if you run all the time, carry mace. Carry mace with you. People will ask, is it legal? No, it's not. It's an administrative code violation in most things. So to save your life, you're willing to get a C summons. Yeah, I think you should do that. I think it's ridiculous that people can't carry something to protect themselves, and just outrageous. But all of these things, one of the things I said the other day, and again, in no way do I want to victim blame anyone, but it's probably a good idea to run with someone, to run, not to be alone, not to run by yourself. And again, I'm not blaming Laken Riley. We should all think in this world that we should be able to go wherever we want, and be safe. But that's not the case, because there are predatory savages out there.
Stop it here. So in this time period from 6:52 to 7:54, we've just watched all of that. Do you see, first of all, is this person alone or with someone?
Alone.
And have you watched in all of your hours of video review in this case, have you seen Diego Ibarra?
No.
In this time period?
No.
Okay. Have you seen him before?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, you swapped him. We're going to talk about that, right?
Correct.
Do you know what Diego Ibarra looks like?
I do.
And have you looked for him in all of these videos that you have reviewed?
Yes.
And on the 22nd day of February 2024, you ever see Diego Ibarra on this trail?
So what the prosecutor, Sheila Ross, is trying to establish is that Jose Ibarra's brother is Diego Ibarra. The defense is trying to create doubt by saying this could have been Diego Ibarra. But that whole argument gets null and void by the DNA underneath Laken Riley's fingernails that positively identify Jose Ibarra. But the prosecutor is doing a fantastic job pointing this out, that this is not Diego Ibarra, this is Jose Ibarra. And she also wants to make that point through identification. But the main identification, of course, will be the DNA underneath Laken Riley's fingernails.
No.
Now I want to move on to the other clips, and then we're going to go back to your last clip that you made. Okay. So what time are we at now?
9:05 a.m.
What part of the trail are we on?
This is Millage Avenue Extension as it's coming towards the bus stop.
What time? You said 9:05 a.m.?
Yes,
And do you recognize that individual we see in the screen?
I do.
Who is that?
That is Laken Riley.
Do you see if anything she has in her left hand?
She is holding her phone in her left hand.
So you can see there's other people around. So he's obviously secreted himself somewhere, and I always
What direction is she running?
She's running south.
I always compare this to the
And
animal
was that
community
also
because it is like an animal that hides in the high grass, like a lion will hide himself or herself in the high grass to attack a zebra or an impala. That's what this is like. It's predatory. The word predatory so fits in this case.
The direction of the IM fields.
It is. She now went east towards the iron fields in the road address.
At 9:06 and 49 seconds.
Yes.
And now we are at a different time period. What time period are we at?
11:36 a.m.
What part of the trail are we on?
This is Miller Avenue Extension.
And do you recognize those two individuals that we now see in the frame at 11:36 a.m.? Have you met them before? And what are their names?
Sophia Magana and Lily Steiner.
And the dog is?
Jen.
Is that Sophia's dog?
It is.
Which direction are they going?
They're going south.
Folks, it's being asked in the chat. Jose Ibarra will be incarcerated in the United States. If we just deported him, he would not be punished. He's going to serve his life without parole in this country. There's no way. And if, I don't have any confidence that life without parole actually means that, because we've seen in New York State cop killers who were sentenced to life without parole get paroled. So when I hear life without parole, somehow yesterday when I heard these verdicts and I heard the sentence, I thought the sentence wasn't harsh enough. And what was I hoping? I was hoping he'd get the death penalty, but they don't have it in Georgia. But to me, he deserves death, and that's me. And many of you may be anti-death penalty proponents. That's your political prerogative. I believe in the death penalty, especially for a case like this. This guy deserves the death penalty 100%. He should never, ever see freedom ever, ever again. Just watching this case is just absolutely sickening. Anyway, folks, this is Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories. If you like real crime, true crime from a police perspective, you're in the right place. And if you're not subscribed, hit that red subscribe button on the screen. Give us a thumbs up, hit the like button, share us with your friends and your family. And if you want to contribute financially, we have a Patreon with 4 different levels. We also have a YouTube channel membership with, count 'em, 5 different levels. And you can join the Police Off the Cuff family by becoming a YouTube member. Let me go back to the video here. That's her roommates with her dog looking for her. Obviously, they had some things set in motion that if they looked out for each other's safety, and they're looking out for Lakin. Where is she? This is not like her, she should have come home already, and she's not home. And according to Schmitty, they found her AirPod. Yeah. So they're looking for her because they know something's wrong. They know something is very, very wrong. And very disturbing to watch this. Absolutely horrific. Can you imagine the roommates? They're practically like sisters, living with each other, going to school together, eating together, sleeping in the same dorm rooms, become like sisters, very close. And this is just not just horrific for the family of Lakin Riley, but her extended family.
Now what time are we at?
11:55 a.m.
Still looking at the path, and the friends were walking on it. You know, such
And who do we
such
see in the frame now at 11:56?
powerful evidence.
Sophia and Lily and Dog Chan.
Powerful evidence that they showed in this courtroom to this judge, who was the only person that was going to make this decision of the guilt or innocence of Jose Ibarra. And his decision was made easier.
Now that it's the sun has come up, how would you describe the lighting that day?
It was, I think, partly sunny that day. It was a little bit windy.
I have to load the Gentech player for this. This may take one moment. This is why we decided not to play it this way.
So imagine how powerful this is to watch in the courtroom for everyone watching this, and especially for the judge
So
who's
you told
making
us
the
you watched
decision.
while we're waiting for the Gentech player to load.
So we're getting to the end of this this video.
I'm going to now play the part of your 279 that says Ibarra returned. First of all, I'm stopping here. At what time are we at?
9:41 a.m.
Is this still the same trail camera?
It is.
And in this frame, do you see the cut-throughs, for lack of a better term, to the Celia, how do you say it again? Celio at
Azuli.
Say it one more time.
Celio at Azuli.
Okay, was that the name of the apartment complex at the time?
It was.
Okay. Can you spell that for Madam Court Reporter?
Cieloazuluk.
Celio at Azuli. Show us where the two cut-throughs are to that apartment.
Can you make it bigger?
I can. One in the bottom screen and one in the middle of the screen.
Correct.
Play at 9:41. We see some red now coming through. Well, I just saw some red. Hold on, stop. I'll stop it. At 9:42 a.m., do you see the red?
Yes.
What's the red?
It's detecting motion. The camera.
And what do you see an image?
I see a blob. Appears to be a black blob.
And in what direction is that blob heading?
Going west towards the Celio at Azuli apartments.
And during this time period, when you watched all of this trail cam video, did you see anything else suspicious or that got your attention, or any other people that got your attention?
No.
Very powerful. This evidence is unbelievably powerful.
I want to ask you about a few other things that you did in this case, Detective. First of all, did you review the cell phone of Lake and Riley?
I did.
And it was extracted by your department?
It was.
Could you toggle over, Your Honor?
So that was very, very powerful evidence. The parts where we see we see the defendant, just scoping out the area, just trying to looking for a victim, just absolutely outrageous. I can't. I can't imagine being in that courtroom and being a family member of Lake and Riley and having to watch all of the evidence that they presented. So powerful was the evidence that the judge actually came to a decision in a half hour, 1.5 hours. That's how that doesn't happen. How powerful was the evidence? a half hour the judge came to the decision. This is from News Nation.
Riley just sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The judge today found Jose Ibarra guilty of murder and all other charges before handing down his sentence just a few hours later after a very emotional trial. This is a case News Nation has been following from the beginning, including for the entirety of this explosive trial.
It brought a sense of joy to all of our lives that has been missing ever since.
Mr. Ibarra, do you want to testify?
Señor Ibarra, ¿desea usted testificar? No sé.
I had asked him how did he receive those scratches, and he didn't give me a clear answer at all.
9:58 a.m.
She received a text message from her mother saying, "You're making me nervous, not answering while you're out running. Are you okay?"
Is that text read?
It is not.
Is that text answered?
It is not.
I found it. Ma'am. Oh. I need EMS immediately to the location where the phone pings. Ma'am. She's down, she's not breathing. Potentially been attacked. Starting CPR now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Someone in that video, in the so-called dumpster video, was wearing an Adidas hat. That's true. When they find that hat, and specifically the hat that was tested in this case, it was worn by Diego Ibarra, not Jose Ibarra, Diego Ibarra.
All right, let's bring in correspondent Alex Capriello, who has been at that Athens, Georgia courthouse since the trial started. And Alex, so
the defense had almost, what could they say? They were trying to, they're going to really convince a judge that wasn't Jose Ibarra, it was his brother Diego. I think not. I really think not, that they're going to convince the judge that it wasn't the perpetrator, Jose Ibarra, it was his brother. Yeah, okay, we'll buy that. And it was so far-fetched and so far out there that to even try that line of questioning, I think was sort of ridiculous, But they're defense attorneys. They have to they have to come up with some type of defense, and that's what they went with, the identification of Jose Ibarra. No, it's not Jose, it's his brother. I don't think so. And again, we mentioned all of the other physical evidence that was there, the DNA underneath the fingernails of Lake and Riley. That was so, that's so powerful, and we just will dispute any identification. It's his brother. Okay, it's his brother, but the victim has his DNA under her fingernails, so that could be immediately just dismissed by the judge. And the fact that the judge came back with a verdict in a half hour just lets you know that he wasn't buying any of the defense, any of their arguments the defense was making, that there was no doubt that this savage you see on this thumbnail on the screen right now was the perpetrator, no doubt. And to think of all the people that are affected by this beautiful woman, Lake and Riley, lost her life. And this guy is going to prison for the rest of his life. Hopefully he'll never, ever see the light of day. But I would never count on that. I've seen many people that have been sentenced to life without parole get out. This is some of the impact statements. I'm going to play a little bit of this.
There is no end to the pain, suffering, and loss that we have experienced or will continue to endure. On that horrific day, my precious daughter was attacked, beaten, and shown no mercy. She fought for her life and dignity and to save herself from being brutally raped. This sick, twisted, and evil coward showed no regard for Lakin or human life. We are asking that same be done to him. Lakin had a beautiful and bright future. She was smart, hardworking, kind, thoughtful, and most importantly, she was a child of God. She had a personal relationship with Jesus, and she loved being the hands and feet of his hands and feet in this world. She shared her love for our Lord with others through her mission trips, working with elderly at the nursing homes, and through her nursing career. Lakin was an amazing friend, sister, niece, daughter, and granddaughter. Anyone who knew her knew about her loving heart. Lakin's life was not the only life taken on that day that Jose Ibarra attacked her. The life of her family and friends was taken too. None of us will ever be the same. This monster took away our chances to see Lakin graduate from nursing school. He took away our ability to meet our future son-in-law. He destroyed our chances of meeting our grandchildren. And he took my best friend. He ripped away every beautiful memory we will ever be able to make with her again. This horrific individual robbed us all of our hopes and dreams for Lakin. Your Honor, I'm asking you to please give Jose Ibarra the same thing he gave us when he made the choice to take Lakin's life and destroy ours. He showed no mercy on Lakin when she was begging for her life. There's no end to the pain and suffering that he inflicted on our family and our friends. I'm asking you to please give this monster life without any chance of parole so that he never gets the chance to hurt anyone else ever again. This is
I'd like to thank Your Honor for the opportunity to speak today. I truly appreciate it. I heard in the opening statements from the defense that the loss of a life that was apparently full of promise is tragic. I'm here today to let Your Honor and the entire world know that Lakin's life was not apparently full of promise, but instead was abundantly and exceptionally full of promise, and was a shining beacon in the life of everyone that knew her, that ever came in contact with her. I'm so proud of Lakin and the beautiful person she was. And while I can stand here and try to tell the world the things that made her such a wonderful person, as well as the many things we have all been robbed and deprived of, I think one of her last journal entries dated 12/17/23 says it best. So here we go. To my future husband. As silly as I feel writing this, my old small group leader.
So these are some of the impact statements that the family read to the court yesterday. Just absolutely heartbreaking. You know, I wanted to do a follow-up on this case, and many people did it live yesterday, and I chose to wait till today. This case is heartbreaking, from every perspective, and justice. I mean, I think we all expected Jose Ibarra to be sentenced to life in prison without parole. So we still, even though he was found guilty, we still feel empty in regards that will never bring back Laken Riley. You know, we'll never see that smile again. Her family will never hear her voice again. As they spoke about, they'll never get to meet her future husband. They'll never get to see her graduate nursing school. All the things in life that give us pleasure, watching someone accomplish things. So, again, I just wanted to say our prayers for Laken Riley, her family, and small little consolation that justice was rendered in regards to Jose Ibarra being sentenced to life without parole. Folks, I'm Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'll see you the next time. Have a great day and God bless.
One episode